Inhale, exhale, repeat. Inhale, exhale, repeat. Inhale, exhale, repeat, repeat, repeat. We exist with every breath. We continue to repeat, yet deepening our breaths, portals to life. We are Afrofuturism, birthing new births. From the crowns of our heads to the soles of our feet, we are royalty, and our crowns are symbols of our positions and our destiny. Textured like paintings with variations that bring distinctions to our unique beauty. Textured like paintings with variations that bring distinctions to our unique beauty. Expressing our culture, we inhale and exhale life, nurturing the world with our lemonade from lemons. Now we finally inhale and exhale and rest. The somatic meditation setting us free. Our actions today are the salvation of generations to come in our tomorrows. We look back at the past to envision our future. Sankofa, seeds sown into our coarse hair to bring life with us to foreign lands. Human ingenuity at its best. We bear a culture with the blood-ridden stripes of the ancestors that sacrificed so that we could someday live. Seeds planted in foreign soil still kept us rooted to our identity and culture. We are fathoms of the diaspora, lost then found. I find home when I look at you, Ubuntu. I am because you, I am because we are, I and I. We gather with braids and locks and twists and weaves and hot combs and oils, all resembling Black history, the feelings, the hopes, and the dreams.
I know. Word salad. Yes.
All right, last time. All right, we're here with the OG. Please share your name and organization you're with.
Hi, my name is Nia Hodge. I am the founder and executive director of Another Level Training Academy. Another Level Training Academy started off a vision from a hairdresser, myself being behind the chair for over 26 years. It was going to be a cosmetology school, and life and situations changed, and we had to pivot in a different direction because my first student, who was my daughter, I talked about that a lot, passed away, and I really kind of, the vision for cosmetology and the art changed for me. And I started doing environmental justice work, community gardens. Just, it made me see all of the things that were missing in our community. And then I came to the point where it's like, hey, you know what? You can't throw out the baby with the bathwater, because you do have a gift and it needs to be shared, but also the gift has a cultural significance to it. And as I started to delve more into art and thinking about creativity, I realized that it's a culture-bearing technique in the art that is starting to lose its significance. A lot of, as much as we embellish, and I say embellish, that's the community of African Americans and people of the diaspora, we forget that how we came to be with the art of hairdressing, patterning, making brushes, combs, hot combs, textiles that we braid hair, how it is an art. And so here we are with the Braiders Academy, facilitating a cultural practice that is pretty much at some point a lost art. A lot of kids do know how to do it, and it's something that people think comes naturally to us, but we don't know where it comes from a lot of times. So with the Braiders Academy, I am teaching the technique as well as the origin of where certain braiding techniques come from, and it also is culturally relevant because it helps people reconnect to the pride in their heritage.
How do you feel about making that choice to become a part of the Braiders Academy?
I believe it was a very good choice. I learned a lot of different things. I've never learned how to braid, even my own hair, so it was just me learning from a beginner standpoint and being able to take every resource that Miss Nia was able to give me.
So what drew you to the Braiders Academy?
Just wanting to learn how to braid because my cousin, she braids, and like she's only 14 and she like provides for herself. Like she has her own money and stuff.
Working with Miss Nia, how has that experience been?
It's been fun. She taught me about like the different cultures and tribes and stuff. So yeah, it's been fun.
To just ask each of you as we go around, the first thing that comes to your mind that about being a woman of color, about being a Black woman, speak it. So mine is queenly.
I immediately think of rich. Rich in the sense of not economics and money, but the richness of our culture, the richness of the knowledge that we all have, and that's been passed on. The richness in our skin colors in all shapes and sizes, coming from different backgrounds, lifestyles, ways of thought, like it's all rich.
My name is Adia Dixon. I am an art instructor, adjunct art instructor at both at Fresno State and Clovis Community College here. I was born and raised here in Fresno. I come from a family of an artistic family. So the arts has been pretty much a skill and a practice that has been deeply embedded into the family. I focus in painting, oil painting, and relief printmaking.
The word that I think of that describes Black women the best to me is vulnerability. We have to be, it's almost like we have to make everyone else feel comfortable, when we come in a space, when we wear the way we decide to wear our hair, especially being in certain environments, the clothes that we wear, like everything is just like, it's always that thing in the back of your mind, like, am I overdoing it, or am I making somebody else feel uncomfortable?
Hi, my name is Astro. I'm an artist, a visual artist, art teacher, exhibit coordinator, and I'm also a mother, a sister, a friend, and I'm a creative here in Fresno. So I'm originally from Illinois. I moved out here with my son 8 years ago, and I just been working the local markets and teaching, working. I've taught at over 7 schools with Fresno Unified, and right now I'm working with other entrepreneurs and working on many other projects. And also I work at the museum, the African American Museum.
The word that comes to mind for me would be tenderness, because as I'm reflecting on just looking at how all of this has come to be, there's a lot that we have to work through, struggle with, advocate for. One, just as people, as women of color, to build anything, and to do that and to flourish, you have to remain tender, to not break.
Hi, my name is Cambria Bailey. I am 25 years old. I am a Fresno-based interdisciplinary artist and art educator. I'm currently in my grad program at Fresno State, getting my MA in art. I am also one of the lucky, blessed 4 artists to be working on this incredible project with Black Hair Visual Anthology.
I just think bold, and then just hearing like all the different words. It's like whatever we do, we're gonna do it hard. Like you're gonna know, whether it's being tender, it's like we give it our full effort, whatever it is. Whether it's to be soft in that moment, to like come in and be that extra. It's like just what we are. So I'm really grateful to be here and learn from all the women that are in here. Really just absorb what's happening in this space.
My name is Paige Mason. I'm born and raised Fresno, California. I am a mom, wife, and art teacher, elementary art teacher, and children's book illustrator.
All right, thank you for that. Can you tell us a little bit about your art? You said you're a children's book illustrator.
Yeah, so ever since I was little, I grew up around cartoons, Sunday comics. My dad was is a natural artist. My mom was also a teacher, recently retired, but she kept me and my sister doing crafts. My dad always encouraged me to draw. I would go to restaurants, they would have kid menus. I'd flip it over to the blank side and make my own cartoons. And just one day I told myself, I'm going to be an artist.
We learned by sitting in the chairs, on the floors, on the pillows. The village taught us how to care for and maintain our hair that functions as our antennas to the world around us. Sometimes we protect with head wraps. Other times we braid or let out our natural. Passing on ancestral knowledge with a host of styles that pay homage to the culture, to the past, and to the future. A connection to the land that birthed and mothered humanity. We are filling in the gaps with the Braiders Academy. There is only one solution, and that is community.
This community, Southwest Fresno, was rich in history, rich in Black businesses. People came here and they started a life coming from the South when the Dust Bowl era hit, and when they were, getting away from all of the racism and the violence, and trying to find better ways of life for their children. So this place right here was a place where these conversations took place. It was the barbershop, and this was therapeutic, right? Men came in here on Saturdays with their sons or grandsons, and came and, talked
shoot the breeze with the barber, but even more so that community was built here. They organized here, things happened here. And so it's a blessing that I'm back in this space. I don't take it for granted that I ended up here. And it's small. It's not what all the other organizations have, like big buildings and all these things. I have a dream for what I want, but I said, you know what? Small things, big things happen in small places. So I'm blessed again, like I said, to be here. So here's where the girls come after school and they learn the techniques. And so what I've been teaching them is about like how our, not only is it an expression of beauty, but there were things that happened with hair. It talked about culture, it talked about background, it talked about tribes you belong to, the way that you embellish and wore your hair. And then our people came across the water and braided seeds into their hair. So we have crops that grow here because they had that much faith that where they got somewhere, if there was land, I would be able to sustain myself. So those are things that we teach in this space. And so that is part of the art that we teach. And like I said, when I was going after the grant, I was told that it wasn't art. It wasn't an art form. And I guess not according to Western thought. But when you look at us, we are texture.
Yeah.
We have, you know, they call it 2A, 2, 3C, 4C,
Yeah.
3B hair, but that's texture, it's textiles. And then we used goat hair and clay and beads and shells. Artistic, that's art. So we wear it every day. So you know, just to say that, again, that I've been given the opportunity and the platform, I'm not gonna not say it. So I've been given the opportunity, the platform, and I'm going to say that here and continue to speak it, because the Western thought and the thought of the Eastern thought and the African inception of who we are is art. And a lot of things were taken from us. And so giving our culture back and teaching our culture back to our young girls so that they can move around space, like you said, and know that they can be vulnerable, but strong and bold and unapologetic and dream, all of those things, because so that they can embody all that. That's what we teach here in this course. The term nappy is not a term. It's oily, overly curly. Nappy and matted rugs, that happen. It does happen, but overly curly hair, it gets matted. It can get matted, but nappy, I think it's a derogatory term.
I'm from Sudan, so I grew up in Sudan a little bit. And then I moved to Egypt. Speaking about different culture and hair, and you know, I never had long hair, but I remember a time that I had hair up to here, but I braided like just box braid. And then there's an Egyptian coming, he's like, oh, take off that hair, it's not your hair. Well, you can't have that long hair. Of course, Black people can have long hair. I said, what do you mean by that? That's not your hair. You need to take it out. No, I'm not taking that, that's my hair. Whether you like it or not. So I was just going like that, shaking the head. It's just like here, you see it on Instagram, like, you know, people say, oh, that's not your hair, take it out, it's a wig. And then I see girls like showing the roots of their hair. It's like, that's my hair. What do you mean Black people can't grow long hair? We have long hair, we can grow long hair. And then I used to put a relaxer on my hair. And after I had my daughters, I cut it out. I was like, no, because I don't want them to experience that, to have relaxer. I had to cut my hair. I had to wear it natural. I had to be the role model for them. You know, to have that natural hair. And as you said, she was not comfortable wearing her natural hair at school all the time. I was like, you have to be really proud of your hair. Your hair is magic. You can do anything to your hair, you know, and it will stay. Curly, straight, anyhow you can wear your hair. You gotta be proud of your hair. You gotta teach your friends how your hair is very important. And it's part of you.
Hair is an appendage of your skin. So it's attached to your it's connected to your nervous system. So a lot of times in cultures, that's why a lot of times when you were captured by another culture or war happened, your head was shaved to disconnect you, right? Because it picks up a frequency. It's connected to the nerve endings in your scalp. So you have the follicles, the papilla, and all that. And in your scalp, that part of your body is alive. And so when you get scared or when there's danger coming, the hairs stand up on the arms, or you can feel a presence, it's because this is an antenna. So it doesn't, if you cut it off, it'll go away, but the body shrinks, of course, in the mummification process, but the hair doesn't deteriorate. It stays the same.
We have to love each other. We
Yes.
come in all a variety of colors, you know, shapes, hair, whatever, different textures. Some have smoother texture than others, but sometimes the big kickback, the resentment, the ugly stares, the
It's heartbreaking.
ugly comments, you know, just that negative. We talk about prejudice and bias. She thinks she's so much, and you haven't, this first time you've seen me, talked to me, said whatever to me. So we have to, you know, love starts with me.
Stay true to yourself. Like, that's what I feel like a lot of times over the years, from the time I was a young kid, having two grandmothers that would always be like critical about my hair being curly or nappy or whatever. And then getting older and constantly trying to figure it out. But I remember when I was in high school, I went to a spot in Philly. I grew up in Jersey. In a spot called Kinky Creations in Philly. My mom took me there to get my hair locked. And from then on, I was like, I like locks. But then as I got older, it became more of a like, it doesn't look clean and polished. And I resonated with what you said, Astro, about like just being a little on the rougher side of life. And I recognize that about myself. I'm just a little rougher. And I like my hair progression, my plan for the next probably 10 to 15 years. Like, I want to grow my locks down to here. And I want to show up in corporate spaces and be like, I'm still the boss. I'm still good at what I do.
I feel like it's like we have to remind people outside of our culture to do these kinds of things. But it's also, we need to remind people within, you know, it starts here, you know. And I'm saying that there was, and this happened at work. I'm just minding my own. I'm at the register, just chilling. Nothing's happening. It's pretty dead there. And there's a woman that comes in. I worked at this retail eyewear place, and she went to get some accessories. So I directed her like, oh, you can go and get those over here, and I can help you when you get all of your things. And we're wearing masks, I think. I can't remember. Yeah, we had to wear masks. And she felt really uncomfortable with me ringing her up for her stuff. And she's like, is there someone else that can help me? I just feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I said, I don't really understand what you're saying. And she just kept re-saying it, but I still really didn't understand what she was saying. She's like, yeah, I just feel uncomfortable about your hair. Like, I don't want to catch anything. And your hair got clipped. And I said, I'm sorry. And when this is happening, there's a person who's white with long white hair. And he's seeing the whole ordeal. And then the woman's like, this is just like, I don't want to, I'm paraphrasing. She's like, this is just getting awkward. This sounds wrong. Can you just have someone else help me out here? And she's like, can I just have someone else help me? And I was like, I guess he can help you. He's like, I guess I can help you. And she's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Friday nights, you got your hair washed, right? So you get your hair washed and curls up. And then you get your hair combed out and braided into 3 or 4 braids, or they put Bantu knots. You didn't even know what those were. So you get your hair put in knots, and then Sunday night you got your hair straightened, right? So you get the hair pressed out, because of course you gotta have your hair straight, because again, all of the stigmas of the texture and curly hair. And so I remember when I started, doing my own hair, I remember my grandmother's sister always saying, why are you walking around here looking like a pickaninny? You got all this pretty hair, and you're cutting your hair off, and then you're braiding hair in your head. Why you cut your hair off to put hair in, and you got hair? And I didn't understand why they were so like stuck on like
texture and colorism. So I'm gonna direct this question to my seasoned ladies. Like, coming up, how did you identify and how did texture and your skin color and all of that stuff, how did it resonate, or how did you move around in space? What were the what was the status quo in moving around in space? Your hair, how did that affect you all?
For me, it had a lot to do with your self-concept. When you were talking about, I think someone said about getting their hair combed and sitting between your mom's legs or your grandmother's. And back then, it was a thing you tolerated. I mean, you did not want to get your hair combed, and something you lived through. It wasn't a special bonding time. And I remember, I guess it was Easter, and y'all I don't know if you can relate to this. Easter was the time you got your hair pressed in the South, now in my generation, okay. And then you had these ring curls. Oh, and you would just be doing it. You were just swinging these curls, and y'all are all too young to know about Shirley Temple. You would just be so proud because only once a year, Easter, in the South, did you get the ring curls. And so that was just like, all day long. But it's, I'm so thankful and proud that all hair is beautiful, because in my growing up, I remember I was taking swimming lessons. And that just bugged me so, because then, the water would get there, and then your hair was nappy. You went in the pool, it was straight when you came out. But now it doesn't matter. All this is beautiful. And it's just to me, for your generation and for my daughter, it's such a relief that all is beautiful. If she goes swimming and gets out of the water and decides to go shopping, she's okay. That was not for me. But, it's thinking back, that Easter thing was
so funny.
As a Black woman who's had her own struggles with hair and appearance and just trying to fit into society, and coming from my grandmother Deborah, she was a braider from St. Louis. Her mother was a hoodoo, so they dealt with a lot of serving the community. And number one, she was one of the local beauticians that didn't have her own shop. She started out of her living room, and she taught me and my sisters how to do hair. I'm not that great at it, but I can do something. But it was important for me to keep that legacy kind of going and to show up in that space and to create a voice for the people that don't have a voice, because a lot of times with professional cosmetology places, hair salons, hair braiding is not, and styling Black hair is not looked upon as professional. So it's just shining a light on the different aspects of Black beauty and Black hair care and where that stems from.
I would like to speak from a biracial perspective, from having a Mexican mom. I remember her chopping my hair at a very, once it was time for school, I just always had this little fro because she didn't want to deal with my hair. And so I learned, like Nia said, I think back and I remember that vanity, the round with the two, and my mom would be sitting down and I would be French braiding her hair. And I don't know where I learned from, but I remember braiding her hair for work. So I learned how to do my hair very early on.
I often wonder if they could see our divinity in our artistry. How we style our hair is a cultural expression of our creativity. The nutrients we use to nourish our roots and show our livity. How our textures can change and we can add with extensions or braids. The designs of our hair is nothing short of a mystery. We gracefully wear our history. Black is beautiful. I love my Black. The revolution is being televised. Peace, my brother. Peace, my sister. Peace, king. Peace, queen. Do you know that you are the definition of art? Can you tell us about and maybe show this piece down here?
Yeah. So while I was a graduate student, I was doing a whole bunch of large scale pieces. So there's a painting behind me. I had pieces that are much bigger than those. So I was really pretty much focusing on the paintings. So this print was not put into my graduate show. This is the largest linoleum block I have ever done. And at the time, I loved doing My Little Pony stuff. I like the nostalgia of My Little Ponies. You know, young kids, young girls, young Black girls would play with these and things like that. And so I wanted to show the representation of I guess the subconscious or the inner thoughts, I guess, of young Black girls in a way to show about imagination, curiosity, wonder, even melancholy, you know, things that every human being feels, you know, but I just put a Black girl here. And so I have never printed this. So I have no idea how it's going to come out, but the whole idea is once I have it printed on canvas, it's thicker than paper, so I would need a press for it to go through it. And then once the print dries, then I'm actually going to paint on top of it. So there'll be some colors that contrasts with the stark black and white marks on this block. So yeah, I'm curious. It's been sitting in the studio for a while, but I've had it at home for about 3 to 4 years. So I haven't touched it. So I'm excited to actually put this up to use and we'll just see what happens with it.
I wanted to showcase Black women and the symbolism of hair wrapping because I'm a Black woman. I wrap my hair in professional settings. I do, and I wanted to, you know, dive into where that ideal came from, you know. And when I did my research, I learned that we had laws, Black women in the 1800s, post civil rights, we had laws on how we could present ourselves in public settings. And I know this project is primarily about hair, but wrapping is a part of hair. And the symbolism that came with that, we couldn't just wear our hair out freely. And the Crown Act, which has happened in less than 20 years, really tells you how we still are masking and having to assimilate to fit into society as Black women.
Leading up to things like SB 1118, I think it was, the Crown Act. And so how is all of that layered? Like, why is that all important? All of the different steps of planting the seed, watering, nourishing, and then it coming to fruition.
I have a saying that I always say, I said, it's not on you, it's in you. There's so much in us, and the ability to give a voice to creativity is amazing to me. And to be a people that not only have there been legislation have to be passed that made us human, for people not to lynch us and commit crimes against us, but SB 188, there's a legislature that had to be put into place about being able to wear your hair, naturally wear your own natural hair in the workplace and not be discriminated against, your own natural cultural DNA makeup, so that kind of thing. So to be able to highlight something as hair, I mean, it's strong. It has to be like so, and it's an art. And so to be a people or a person who actually possesses this amazing keratin, cuticles, protein on our head, and it also be considered art is something like phenomenal to me.
So these two pieces, so the one that I'm holding and then the one on the table, they're like sister pieces called Cradles and Carriers. And so I wanted to create two vessels laced with braiding hair and different like adornments that we use, like beads and hoops, to like adorn ourselves, because I was thinking about I mentioned this a little bit before, but when it comes to hair, it carries so much. And not only does it carry like our like heritage and the evidence of that, but it also carries the care that we put into it. It carries the ideas that we put into it. And so I literally wanted to create a bowl and like think about visually, like, so what are we telling ourselves about our hair? What are we telling ourselves about how, oh, well, it's so difficult to take care of, or well, I love taking care of my hair. Like, I love the different styles that I can put it into, or, you know, it's all of these different things. Our hair, like, we just soak that up. Our crown soaks it up. Our mind soaks it up. And so I wanted to visualize, I think, the beauty of that process and how that can look. With like what this culture, what it carries on the inside. And then I also made these cute little like wooden things. I wanted to make a few edge brushes. And then I also did the Adinkra symbol for beauty, which I'm in the process of like getting that together. But yeah, I just thought that it would be fun to actually put like little items in that braided basket. And like people can pick them up and, you know, and move them around and stuff, as long as they, of course, stay within the actual exhibit. But I wanted it to have like an interactive factor as well.
Do you have any of the pieces that you're going to be exhibiting?
I do have one. It's kind of like a prototype, but I think I might still include it. So as I mentioned, I work small, but kind of if you think of the idea of how there's a collection of these images, that's what I'm hoping to also. So it'll be like a collage of these mini images, but they'll all tie in. So the idea is that with our black hair, you can't box us in, or you can't frame us. So I guess it's kind of like collaging and mixed media. It's where I'm going to illustrate these images of different hair, but they're going to go past the borders. They're going to defy the borders. They're going to either overlap, as you see here, afro puffs, or coming out to the edges. So just going past the borders of the frame. So that's what I'm going to explore with different sizes. I will be going bigger. And I love the idea of these vintage frames, because it also goes back to like learning art classically, and then you see those grand halls of all these European figures in these ornate frames, but it's like, well, I'm gonna stick us in there and we're still gonna break the borders.
What inspired the exhibit, and what are your hopes and goals with it?
I was just on the fence about just let's do workshops and teach people how to braid and things like that. And you were like, hey, what if we create an anthology? And I've been seeing them. It was so funny now, like over the last year or so, like them being in New York and San Francisco, LA, like in the Black museums, right? They having these hair anthologies. And I think I saw a documentary, In My Mother's Garden, that thing, and those stories being told and listening to girls talk about, like we talked about during the sister circle, like how not only was hair a part of our, us embellishing ourselves and feeling good about ourselves, but it was also a place where we came to be nurtured. Mental health, you got some crazy washed out your head, or
that was therapy.
Yeah, it was therapy. You got some, you got talked to. There were generations in the salon, in the barbershop, just like even the barbershop, right? The men come and they bring their sons, and their sons get to see the older men talk to the younger men or to the middle-aged man. And this is where you came, you having problems with your wife or your kid or whatever, and you bring your child to the barber. And that has happened also in the salon and from behind the chair. Even from behind the chair is where I started doing the nonprofit work, because I'm servicing women that are C-suite women who have gone to college, and they're listening to me talk about my vision and what I want to do and how I want to take things to the next level. And it's funny, my salon has been called Another Level since 98. And it was funny because I called it Another Level because it was me moving from working in a salon with multiple women. I moved into a barbershop and worked in the barbershop with men in the back. And so it was just me coming out of my comfort zone and taking things to the next level. And so it just stuck. It stuck with everything. I've just been like the staple. Another level, that just, thinking on another level, taking things to another level, doing things in a creative way. Because even at our organization, nothing is done, what do you say, traditionally for to the most part, for the most part, there's 5 different buckets in our organization, right? We have transportation, we got a van, we build community gardens, we build garden beds, we cook, we write career, we do all these different things, and it's just been, so much has come from behind the chair. Like, again, me being able to just speaking and stating my vision and somebody believing in that, saying, hey, then you know what, you should do that. Just cultivate the cultivation of a thought. And so that's where this comes from. Everything is just a thought, and then somebody encouraging me and then giving me the opportunity and the platform to do it. And so that's the same thing with the Braiders Academy. And that's the same thing in community too. That's the work that I'm doing in community. Is like, hey, if a person tells me, I'm an activator, I'm a facilitator. If you say this is what you want to do, okay, let's do it. And no don't mean no. So that's pretty much what it is.
So we inhale and exhale the breath of life, sharing with the world one of the most intimate parts of our culture, the gift of our roots, a symbol of our past and a mark of our destiny. No, I am not my hair, but it definitely is a symbol of the art within me. This is Black Hair, a visual anthology.